All right, guys, so we're back now. And we're looking at binomial random variables and probability distributions. All right, guys, so now we're looking at binomial distribution. And yeah, so what is a binomial random variable? It is a random experiment which has n repeated trials. Each trial results in one of two possible outcomes, success or failure. So once you see a question that you can only have two outcomes, you automatically know that you're dealing with binomial distribution. Secondly, the probability of success, P, is constant for each trial. So P represents the probability of success, while 1 minus P represents the probability of failure. And each trial is independent of each other. So these are three very important characteristics of binomial distribution. So each trial results in one of two possible outcomes. So if we have two outcomes, success or failure, we know that we're dealing with binomial distribution. If the probability of success, P, is constant for each trial, and each trial is independent. So the probability distribution is represented by the probability that X is equal to X, which is N, choose X, times the probability of success, which is P, raised to X, times the probability of failure, which is 1 minus P raised to N, which is our sample size, minus X, which is our variable in question. On the binomial distribution, the mean, as we all know, is also called expected, is also called the average, is the expected value of X, which is equal to mu, which is equal to N times P, which is our sample size times our probability of success. The variance is the standard, the variance is sigma squared equal to the sample size times the probability of success times the probability of failure. And to find the standard deviation, which is just sigma, is just the square root of our variance, which is N times P times 1 minus P. I think binomial is one of the easiest to understand. It's very straightforward. Once you see anything about two options, you know that it's binomial distribution. So the first question says that suppose that the probability 0.1 that the value of Jamaican dollar will rise against the US dollar over any given week, and that the outcome in 1 week is independent of that in any other week. What is the probability that the value of the Jamaican dollar will rise against the US dollar at least over a period of 7 weeks? So the first thing we're going to do is write down. And this is a thing where it's very important, always write down what you're given. So we know the probability of success 0.1, or n is 7, not 0.7, it's 7, and the probability of failure is 1 minus p, which is 0.9. So the question asks us is, will rise against the US dollar at least twice over a period of 7 weeks? So when you hear at least, it means that at least this is your minimum value. So less than is either greater than or equal to the value. If they said at most, when they're dealing with at most, we're dealing with a maximum value. So it's either less than or equal. While for at least it's greater than or equal to, since we're dealing with the minimum, from the minimum value. So in this case, we can write the probability that x is greater than or equal to 2. This can be reworked 2 different ways. So we could do it where the probability that x is greater than or equal to 2, where this is represented by probability that x is equal to 2, plus probability that x is equal to 3, plus probability that x is equal to 4, plus probability that x is equal to 5, plus probability that x is equal to 6, plus probability that x is equal to 7. Do you guys feel how exhausting that is? Just to write that out? But we're going to work it both ways. All you're doing is that when the probability of x is equal to, substitute it into your formula. So 7 choose 2 times 0.1 raised to 2 times 0.9 raised to 5, which is going to give us 0.124. The probability of x is equal to 3 is 7 choose 3 times 0.1 raised to 3 times 0.94, because 7 minus 4, 7 minus 3 is equal to 4, 0.023. Plus the probability that x is equal to 4 is going to give us, 7 choose 4 times 0.1 raised to 4 times 0.9 raised to 3, which is going to be 0.03, plus the probability that, you guys feel how exhausting is it? Probability that x equals to 5 is 7 choose 5 times 1 raised to 5 times 0.9 raised to 2, which is 0.002, plus 7 choose 6, and we continue like, and we end up with 0.150. All right. Due to the fact that we know that all our probabilities must sum to 1, there's an easier way for us to find out the probability that x is greater than or equal to 2. All we have to do is find out the probability that x is less than 2, which is just the probability that x is equal to 0, the probability that x is equal to 1, which is way easier. And we just minus that answer from 1. So we get 1 is equal to probability that x is less than 2, which is equal to 1 minus probability that x is equal to 0 plus probability that x is equal to 1, which is 1 minus probability that 7 choose 0 times 0.1 raised to 0 times 0.9 raised to 7, plus probability that x is equal to 1 is equal to 7 choose 1 times 0.1 raised to 1 times 0.9 raised to 6, and we get 0.4783 plus 0.3720. When you add that, you get 0.8503, which is 1 minus 0.8503, and we get 0.50, which was way easier. So at times when we get large values, like, yeah, look for the easier way and work it the easier way, because this is very exhausting, and at times you might be confused and you might get the answer wrong because of how much you're calculating at the same time. Alright, so this question says that suppose you take a test which covers particle physics, something none of us know anything about. The test consists of 40 questions, each having 5 options. If you guess all 40 questions, what are the mean and standard deviation of the number of correct answers? So the first thing we need to do is write down what we were given. So we know that our n is going to be 40. Our sample size is 40. We have a multiple choice. Each question has 5 options, but because we know that we only have out of the 5 options, one is correct. We know that the probability of success is going to be 1 divided by 5, which is equal to 0.20. Therefore, the probability of failure is going to be 1 minus p, which is equal to 0.80. We know that the mean, our expected value, is n times p. Since we know that our n is 40 and our p is 0.2, we get 8. So the mean is going to be 8. Then they also ask us to find the standard deviation. To find the standard deviation, we have to find the variance, which is n times p times 1 minus p, which is 40, times 0.2 times 0.8, which is 6.4. To find the standard deviation, all you have to do is find the square root of your variance, 6.4, which is equal to 2.53. Any question, guys? Question 3 of one before. Alex, question 3 of which one? Okay, so it says that the following two acceptance the following two acceptance rules are being considered for determining whether to take delivery of a particular shipment so this is a question that you're asking me to go back to. Is it that you did not understand something?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
How you got the probability to be 1 out of 5?